Well, hello and welcome to Old People This Week. My name is Jeff, and that scandalously handsome spring chicken there, that's Mike. Hello, Mike.
Good morning, Jeff. How you doing? Good morning, everyone.
How am I doing? I'll tell you how I'm doing. You remember Truman? Remember
Tell
Truman,
me.
our rescue lab?
Yeah, how is he? How's he doing?
Oh, he's fine. He went into the closet yesterday and peed all over my shoes.
Well, now, comfort in souls.
Ugh. So that got Valerie and I very upset, and we don't know what to do. We called the trainer, and she was like, she didn't know what to tell us. So we're trying to figure out how to teach him not to pee in our closet.
I hope you're going to get a refund from that trainer. That seems like pretty basic step one stuff. Don't pee in the closet.
Don't pee on your master's shoes. Old People This Week is a podcast for the mentally acute, with it, aging people over 60. If you're under the age of 60, then please leave via the front door. Go back to Reddit, Tinder, or TikTok, or wherever you came from. But on the way out, maybe you could tell your parents or your grandparents to come visit Mike and I. We would love to have them join us. This is a place where people our age can have a conversations about the stories that matter to us. And as an incredible bonus, you're going to sound very smart this weekend when you are at the golf club, or whether you're playing cards, or whether you're at the gym, or of course at happy hour, where Mike and I do a lot of our research.
Happy hour, 5 o'clock sharp. Every evening we don our lab coats and adjourn to our favorite nearby bistro.
Every Thursday, this podcast comes out. Please send us an email. Interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. We've gotten a couple emails already that I'll refer to at some point. And actually, we're going to contact you, because one of the things that Mike and I are going to start doing is bringing on a third person to talk to, not a celebrity, not anybody that you're going to know, but some ordinary Joe or Joan that we can have a conversation with. So
our neighbor Rick.
We got Rick on, for sure.
Our good neighbor Rick.
Yep, he's a good guy. He's an interesting man. Just put it that way. Before we get started on our first story, Mike and I want to thank the 2,400 plus people who viewed us last week. You are all invited over to Mike's house for a potluck. If one of you brings short ribs, he'll be very happy. But it's bring your own bottle, BYOB, because Mike is not going to foot that bill, right?
No. Only two acceptable means of entry to my backyard open pit barbecue of a whole pig. You have to bring a bottle of Macallan 50 or a bottle of 3 Sticks Pinot Noir, and that will tell me that you are someone of incredibly good taste.
3 Sticks, okay. And also, before we get started, Mike, last week I referred to your wonderful haircut, and I went out and got my own style here. The guy, I told him, I said I wanted a boomer mohawk, and he used that number 1 clipper, and he went all the way around and just left this beautiful tuft of hair right here on top.
I don't even remember when I had hair that long. Did he actually charge you for that?
Well, the place I go is $40 a haircut. How much is your haircut?
$0. I do it myself.
I know. It kills me. I can't imagine you sitting there in front of the mirror doing this.
It is so easy. You set it on one length, hold the mirror up, and just turn around and buzz it off. And look.
Just turn around. But you have to have a mirror behind you and all
that. No, just think you too could look like this and save $40 a week.
It's not a week. I don't go every week. I go every 3 weeks. My hair doesn't grow that fast. I'm not 17 anymore.
No, but if I had hair that long, it would fall down on my eyes when I was in the shower. I wouldn't want to do that.
If I get out of the shower and shake my head like the mane goes all over the place.
I just comb mine with a washcloth and I'm out the door.
Okay. But you're like that Truman the dog. Our dog has short hair, but it gets all over the place. It doesn't stay on his body. At least yours doesn't shed. The first thing we want to talk about, of course, is a recap of the last Sunday's Oscar, and I'm going to sum this up, and I'm going to tamp it down to one easy way to say it. the show is way too long. It's at least 2 hours too long. It clocked in at over like 3.5 hours. It could be an hour, hour and a half. Um, there's too many categories. Nobody cares about most of them. Too many people up there droning. You know, who knows who or what a sound design person does? Who knows what the only person who knows who won the editing Oscar is the mother of the person, because I don't remember his name or her name.
No.
Anyways, it was just too much. Um, you could do the show in an hour by just doing the following awards: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Director, and then maybe one of the songs, if in fact the song is light and fun and stuff like that I'm Ken song that Ryan Gosling did. But if
Yeah.
it's a dirge from some sad movie, then I don't want to hear that either. They can cut this down, don't you think so, Mike?
Yeah. I, I couldn't help but think the whole night, and I emphasize the words whole night because it is too damn long, thinking about everyone in that room who got a chance to go to the swag bag room and get a $178,000 swag bag full of things that manufacturers hope that some star or starlet will be seen carrying their product around or using their product or something.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably have like Rolex watches in there and stuff like that.
Yeah, some trip to Sweden for a spa experience or something, I guess, was one of the package contents.
Really?
But then the other thing, they're all actors and actresses. So when they get up and it's like, oh my God, I had no idea this was coming. I didn't know what, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, people, it's what you do for a living.
Yeah, that's as you know, I'm very skeptical about the whole thing. I spent some years not working on the Oscars itself. I worked for E Entertainment Television, and we covered the Oscars on the red carpet. And I got, over the years, I got more and more cynical and jaded about the whole thing. And so I barely watched them this time, but I did see enough to know that it was too much, it was too long. And so hopefully they'll actually hear us and they know from this professional that I'm speaking from the heart, and maybe they'll cut this thing down. However, they probably would. Their justification is probably just, if people will sit there and watch it for 3.5 hours, we can run 3.5 hours worth of commercials, and it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I just heard on the news last night that the viewership for the Oscars had been declining over the past few years, but this past one, I guess, the ratings were way back up again. So we're screwed.
And truth be told, it wasn't a bad version of the Oscars compared to the last, say, 10 years worth of them, but it still has a lot of fat in there. Oh, by the way, you owe me $5. We had made a bet on some of the categories. You and I both did miserably on all of them, except there was one in which I got right, in which was I picked Christopher Nolan to win for Best Director. You picked Scorsese, so you owe me $5. And you know I like wine, so I expect to see a bottle of Thunderbird in my mailbox.
No, Annie Greensprings is coming your way.
You know, I just involuntarily shook because we used to drink that wine in college, and you'd always have the reaction would always be one of, what did I just put in my mouth?
Yeah, I remember spilling some once, and it burned with a blue-white flame. I thought, this is not good for my long-term prospects.
Bird going in and it burned going out. And also the other thing about the Oscars, and the last thing about there's not a whole lot of people over 60 represented in the show. There's some, but not a lot. But the one that they put up there to sort of have the honor of revealing the best picture, they bring up Al Pacino, and he was
semi-conscious.
It was beyond doddering. You know, he was just he really underplayed it, or he mumbled it. He didn't play it up, and it was just anticlimactic. And it's supposed to be the absolute climax of the whole show.
Yeah, no, he claims the producers told him not to read the list of all the nominees. But I loved when he came out and the camera cut to Robert De Niro, and De Niro had a look on his face like, "Who the hell is that?"
Didn't remember his old buddy.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was nice. Bradley Cooper's mom was with him.
Bradley Cooper's mom, yeah. And
Yeah.
also to go back to Ryan Gosling, he walked the red carpet with his sister. So it was all
Yeah,
in
that was
all,
cool.
it was a good evening, I guess. And I spent some of it sneaking off to the other room to watch the United States women's national team beat up on Brazil, which was great. But I kept sneaking out to watch the awards. So I had a good night, all in all.
Yeah, I was nodding off, but our wives were texting each other back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife cried a couple times during some of the speeches. I can't remember the name of the person who won the Best Supporting Actress, but evidently her speech and my wife, it was very emotional for her.
Yeah,
So what are you gonna do? It's good. It's a good
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Um, this next story is, and it's also sort of a show busy story, only television, not films. Uh, Mike, why don't you tell our audience what's coming to a city near us? The audition.
Big excitement for all you fans of The Golden Bachelor. And as we had discussed earlier, now there's the predictable spinoff, The Golden Bachelorette. And live casting calls are now going to be held in a shopping center near where Jeff and I live for potential golden bachelors.
Typical audition, you're not singing or dancing or something, or you're not doing a soliloquy from Hamlet or something. I mean, I wonder, I don't know what you do other than introduce yourself, maybe do some kind of a screen test, or maybe interact with somebody else or one of the producers or something. And I don't even know what they're looking for. I suppose you can't be a troll looking thing. You have to be somewhat handsome, and they're going to do a financial or background check that's probably much like a colonoscopy to make sure you're not a serial killer or that, some other kind of deadbeat. But I honestly don't know how they select this person or persons.
Yeah, I mean, if they can complete a whole sentence and the camera seems to like them, I don't know.
Yeah.
What I'm, I wonder what some of these guys tell their girlfriends when they go off for their interview.
All right. Now on from that's sort of the nice story of the day. Something a little uglier took place in Beverly Hills, California, that I wanted to discuss, and I think people should know about. And one of the more disturbing stories of the week, these middle school kids in Beverly Hills, they put real student faces uh, onto artificially generated nude bodies and then passed them around, which maybe is a sort of AI bullying to the max, and sort of what
Yeah,
we're on the dark side of what we're looking at in the future with AI.
I'm just shocked that it's cropping up with kids this age. Or I mean, of course, in Beverly Hills, what a surprise! But it just, I think it doesn't portend well for where this could go in our real lives every day to know whether or not what we're looking at is real or not.
Yeah, the pictures that I have, and I'll try to show some here, were at the front of the school. The cops showed up. I mean, this was taken dead seriously, and they
It's a
got in
real
there
deal, yeah.
and they interviewed a bunch of kids. They found five of them. And these five eighth graders were expelled for their involvement in creating and sharing these fake nude pictures. Um, and it was such a cut and dry. They must have been so guilty, so caught so red-handed that in a stipulated agreement, the students and their parents did not contest the punishment, and no hearing was held. So it was like, we're dealing with this, and see you later, and that's it.
Yeah, but if no hearing is held, so there's no record of it. So these little asses go home and get to languish in some private school until they grow up to be even bigger assholes. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole thing kind of stinks.
Well, the no hearing thing did get to me a little bit too. It felt like they were sweeping under the rug, and
Yeah,
from from what I know about that school system, this is not the first scandal that's been harbored there. They had a drug problem there, a huge drug problem there at the high school some years ago. But anyway,
yeah.
it was a terrible thing. If anyone, by the way, I was thinking about this, where you could literally take someone's my face, say, and put a new body underneath it and pass it around. Well, if you do it, Mike, if you're thinking about doing this, make sure that you use a body that is going to make me look good, like that John Cena or somebody from the Oscars, the guy who was fake that he was streaking. Um, and also start right here under my neck. Don't leave the neck. Don't leave this neck. I mean a new
Yeah.
neck, because this old thing has got these freaking cable wires running through here that are weren't
It's
there
called
10
a
years ago. Huh?
it's called a turkey waddle.
That's not turkey. It's not
It's a,
waddling,
it's
but
a turkey waddle.
no.
What I'm going to
You got a
do when I do this, I'm going to give
This
you
is
my three
muscle.
chins. Yeah,
This is
you
not
wish.
waddle. That's muscle, my
You
friend.
wish. You wish. I'm going to give you all three of my chins
Yeah,
and my baggy eyes.
yeah, that's what I mean. I don't want my body's bad enough. I know. Just give me a good one if you're going to AI it. Well, our next story is about something that you're familiar with in one sense of the word, from working on your car, but it actually has a double meaning that's more serious, and that word is chroming. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do, like, with putting anything on your detailing on your car.
No, I got really excited when you told me about this. I thought you were becoming a little more attuned to the automotive scene, but no.
No, this chroming involves inhaling dangerous chemicals and substances like nail polish remover, hairspray, aerosol deodorant, lighter fluid, gasoline, paint thinners, spray paint, and permanent markers as a form of recreational drug use. Breathing
Who
in these
knew?
inhalants, yeah, breathing in these inhalants in a highly concentrated mixture can create a brief euphoric effect, a brief one, but it's dangerous and can lead to dizziness, vomiting, cardiac failure, and brain damage, according to the American Addiction Centers. Now, this is a public service announcement because for all of us grandparents and older people, if you're with your grandkids or around some younger people and you see them sneaking into the bathroom and they've got some paint thinner with them, you should probably get in there and take it back from them.
Yeah, you know they're not working on a home improvement project.
Yeah. What are you doing with the paint thinner, Jimmy? Uh, oh man. Yeah, that's tough. Um, so everyone, keep your eyes open for that, please. And
Crazy.
this next story, which is an absolute need to know, but I think it's funny in a weird way. I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans, but New Orleans is like no other
Yeah,
city in the world.
it's
It's the
great.
only place. It's the only place in the world I've ever been. I was there, and we drove down a street, pulled over to a little kiosk, and and opened our window, paid some money, and the guy handed us daiquiris in
I
our
love
car,
that.
and it
I
was
love
legal.
that.
It was totally legal. You pull over, guy hands you daiquiris. You drive around New Orleans drinking daiquiris. It is a place unto its own. It's like it's in America, but it's not quite in America.
Yeah,
It's
no,
its own rules.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful. It's crazy. But this story is not so fun or crazy, or I guess it's crazy. According to the Associated Press, the New Orleans police headquarters are infested with rats, and if that's not bad enough, they got into the marijuana in the evidence room, and now they're all high and running amok. I saw
Yeah,
pictures.
likely story. That's one way to explain the shortage of drugs in the evidence room.
Well, so there was a police commission that was held uh, in order to discuss this problems with the police headquarters. And this police superintendent, this woman, I think her last name was Kirkpatrick, shows up and she says, not only is the place run down, but there's cockroaches everywhere and these high drugged up rats, meandering all over the place. They'd gotten into the evidence room and went crazy. And then, so this commission says, well, we better, investigate this or find out some more information about this. And they went to Johns Hopkins and got in touch with some researcher and to find out what the effects of marijuana on rats are, because maybe they thought, well, if marijuana is going to kill the rats, it'll actually be a good thing. The researchers said that just like humans, the rats get lazy and they want to eat.
So they wanted to spend money on research instead of cleaning up the headquarters.
Well, it's also, I mean, you have a bunch of rats lolling around with the munchies now in your place of business.
I wonder how many cases got thrown out of court because this is like the dog ate my homework.
Yeah. That was the other thing is maybe she was setting it up like, I don't know if you hear about a lot of cases have to be retried. It's not my fault. The darn rats got in there and ate all the marijuana. Anyway, and the other story that I'm going to start this week, but I think we're going to take it up next week as well, is about these squatters, and it's like a national problem. It's not just related to one state any worse. It's squatting is basically where somebody moves into your house or a home you may own and not live in, and just not leave. And they get in there, these squatters, and they use different tricks in order to stay on. For example, they'll phony up a lease that they can get a lease at go to CVS or go to Staples or something, and you can get a blank lease, and you can make it out, and then you can say, oh, I'm supposed to be here, and then becomes this whole legal morass of trying to get to a point of being able to get out of it, or get them out, I should say.
Get them out of your property,
get them out of your property. But it's a long, arduous process. At least in the state of California, I was reading, you have to, if you come home and you find somebody living in your place, you have to file a eviction papers, and then there has to be a 30-day wait just to start the process. And then
during which they'll trash your property because they know what's coming.
Yeah, they'll trash it. They're not going to sit in there and clean it up and make it all nice for you. They'll trash it. I mean, it's really incredible. I think that if it was me, and this is a phenomenon nowadays that's exacerbated by the fact that people own a lot of second homes, like that they rent out as Airbnbs or whatever. Yeah. And people just get into these homes and they refuse to leave. If it was me, I would crouch outside and wait until they leave. They'd have to leave at some point, or you could turn off the electricity maybe, or the water or something. And the minute they leave, I would jump in there, get in the house and lock it from the inside, and they would never be able to get back in there.
Yeah, but you might get prosecuted for unjust interference or something.
Entering into your own home.
Yeah, or you could even get arrested for lurking outside, waiting for them to leave.
I'm a good lurker, though. I used to lurk outside for hours to try to catch those squirrels going after my avocados in the avocado tree. And I would sit there and wait. And if I saw
your water cannon,
I would know. Well, the first thing I did was I wasn't going to get a gun or anything, but I got on Amazon and I bought a slingshot. And I got out there and I waited till the squirrel was getting close to an avocado, and I shot the slingshot, and the thing went about 600 miles an hour through the tree, and a mile away I could hear a window crash. So I said, no more slingshot. So I switched to, I got a thing for the end of the hose so that it would squirt like a jet hose. It would make a real strong. And I'd sit out there in the bushes and wait until the squirrel would get close enough, and then I'd blast them with water. And they would get mad. The squirrel would turn to you and go, like weird.
And then they bring more of their buddies. to
And all of a
steal
sudden
more
you'll notice there's
avocados.
40 of them staring at you like the birds.
Yeah,
But anyways, the squatters, we're doing some more investigative work on that, Mike. I expect you to get
yeah,
busy on Google and find out more information. I heard there's a new law in Florida that's going to just, cut through all the bull crap and be able to evict these people like right away.
yeah. Back a dump truck up, throw all their stuff in it, and drive away, and the sheriff will help you.
Well, but legally, meaning that they're going to cut
Yeah,
through the paperwork. But I just glanced
yeah,
at that. I didn't have a chance to read it, but we'll get back into this next week and give you an update on the squatters because I think this is important because God knows all of us have second homes. How many homes do you have there, Mike? 2, 3, 4?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm lucky to keep the one I have.
yeah, yeah. It would be nice to have I wouldn't want to have an Airbnb though because I'm just not that kind of person. I wouldn't want somebody in a home I own. Uh, I would feel icky about it. I wouldn't want them in there, and I don't think
Yeah, no,
I.
my wife and I have that argument all the time. She's pressing because we have an extra room that is very nice with a separate bathroom and everything.
Oh,
And she's pressing all the time to do Airbnb or whatever, or even have a renter. And it's like, no, I don't want anybody's stuff in my refrigerator next to mine, or worse than that, somebody eating my stuff.
yeah. Go
I don't
like
want
going back to
their
college.
yeah.
College was like that. You'd go in the refrigerator, and your roommate would be sitting there stuffing his face with the with the spam you bought. Because we subsisted on spam and those ramen noodles when we were in college.
Yeah, ramen, that was a step up.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Spam
about
was,
spam. And speaking of spam, by the way, I've seen for whatever reason they have decided to pour money into advertising spam again. They're going to reignite that brand. And there is this commercial in which this woman is happily chopping up spam and mixing it with rice and peas and then at the end of it it goes spam, sizzle, pork, and
mm,
that
with today's grocery prices, you know, if you've got kids, maybe a can of spam goes a long way to extending the diet. I don't know.
oh yeah, with the kids I'd feed we as I said last week we fed them Lunchables and now they've said that the
Oh,
Lunchables can cause
good.
diabetes. We were
Yeah, oh,
like
good.
here we would have Lunchables all day. The and spam if you go to Hawaii spam is a delicacy.
Yeah, no, it's everywhere. It's on menus everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, they serve it on everything. They have this thing in Hawaii where they take spam and they fry it, and then they put it in like a roll, like a rice roll, and
Yeah,
it's big. It's not like it's a huge thing, and then you eat it like that. It's just with soy sauce.
it's a
it's
tropical burrito.
it's yeah, it is. They love it there. All right. Anyway, for our last story today, and this is a one that unfortunately we usually are goofing on people who live in somewhere in the southeast for our last story of the day, and generally they're from Florida because that's where all the truly insane things happen in the United States. But this one is centered on in a little town called Ashtabula, Ohio, which is up on Lake Erie, midway between Cleveland and Erie, Pennsylvania. And I know Ashtabula very well because that's where I was born in Ashtabula General Hospital and was raised there and went to high school there and stayed there till I was out of college and then left there for greener pastures. And Ashtabula was a place that was sort of bucolic and small townish and until the 70s when the economy went to hell and then all these what we call billhillies, which is the reverse of hillbillies. We call them billhillies, came up from Kentucky and West Virginia to look for work. And the next thing you know, there's drugs and all kind. It's a mess up there. But at any rate, every once in a while there'll be a negative story. There's never a positive story about Asheville, Ohio. There's always a negative story. A few years ago,
Sounds like
Sports
it.
Illustrated. A few years ago, Sports Illustrated did an entire story on steroids in high schools, and the featured high school was Ashtabula High. So,
Oh, good.
yeah. But anyway, this story was, and it just happened, and a bunch of people said it to me because they knew I was from Ashtabula. But there's this 80-year-old guy there. His name was Doug Lehman, and he was a widower, and he was lonely and living by himself. So he went to live with these two women and share a house with them. One of them's name was Laureen, who was 55, and the other was Karen, who's 63. And the three of them were living together, and they become close friends to the point where they were spending a lot of time together. And one of the things they did together is the two women would drive Doug to the bank, to the what is that called on the outside of a bank where you can get money?
The drive-through.
Yeah, you go to the
Yeah.
drive-through, and he would wave and to the teller, and then they put the money, their card in, they would get money, and see you later. It was all like the big happiness. Well, evidently, just last week, the two women came home, and Doug was dead.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, but unfortunately, that's too bad. He was 80 though. He lived a full life.
Yeah.
But instead of calling the cops or any kind of authorities or doing anything, they decide to prop him up in the car between them, the dead body, and they put a pair of sunglasses on him. I'll show a picture of it. A pair of sunglasses on poor Doug, prop him up in between them in the car, drive over to the bank, and then sort of move his hand, I think, so he's waving to the teller, and they used his card and pulled out all kinds of money, an undisclosed sum. The way that the police described it was his body was placed in the vehicle in such a manner that he would be visible to the bank staff in order to make the withdrawal. And the police chief added, he allowed this previously as long as they were accompanied by him.
Amazing. How did they get him in the car? I mean, I can't even imagine that process. That's got to be horrific.
No, that's what not. And this is not the end of the story. So they take him to the bank, they get his money, and then they decide they don't need him anymore. So they take him to the hospital, same hospital I was born in, by the way, and they bring him to the front and they sort of dump him out. And they don't tell anybody what his name is or their own names, and they bolt. So
And
a few hours later,
no one thought it was suspicious as they were manipulating a dead body out of the car in front of the hospital.
They did think it was suspicious, and it was the hospital that called the cops. The cops came over there, but there's no identification on him. He's wearing these sunglasses and a hat, I just looks stupid. And so, but one of the two women, I didn't say which one, had a bout with her conscience later on that day and called the hospital and said, "That's Doug Lyman," and the cops, then they found his Lyman's stepson, and Lyman said that the stepson said that Lyman's been living with these two women. So the cops go over to the house, and the women just break down, and they told the whole story. They spilled the beans.
Master criminals.
Master criminals. They were charged with gross abuse of a corpse and theft from a person in a protected class.
Are we a protected class?
That's what I hit on
dead
too.
people.
So evidently, no, I took it as being elderly people. So I'm going to use this now. This maybe even work at our happy hour. Maybe instead of saying senior citizens, we say we're a protected class. That glass of that gin and tonic there will only be $2, please.
Exactly. Well, and it could work with your wife as well.
Yeah.
If she gets in a threatening posture, you can remind her you're a protected class.
Protected posture. When she hands me a broom, I'm going to say, no work. I'm a protected class. I'm going to go nap here, please. Excuse me. Thank you all for coming this week. I don't know if we'll approach the numbers that we had last week, the 2,400. We may just get 10 this week, but for 10 of you, I hope you enjoy this. And we'll see you next Thursday. Adios, Mike. We'll see you at happy hour. Don't be late, and bring your credit card.
Got it.